Hi, everybody. It is July 31st, Monday. And yeah, I'm going to make a short video on the basically the transformation we're going through, which uh, which you'll hear a lot of people describe as like shifting to 5D. So if you're like me, or I've been trying to wrap this around my head. It's like, what do you mean we're shifting to 5D? So granted, I mean, this is just from, maybe last 6 or 7 years of looking into this subject, but also I'm getting kind of telepathic messages too that sort of give me a description of what we're going through. The problem is, if you're paying attention, you probably noticed that this world is really going crazy, especially in the last 10, 20 years in particular. It's just, everything's just sped up, everything's accelerated. Like, we're just going through this really crazy times. Um, okay, so from my perspective, or from what I've learned, I'll just describe how it is sort of how I understand it. And then if it makes sense to you, that's great too. Um, it's like our galaxy, or even our Milky Way, is is basically going through a circular motion. It's almost like a repeated cycle over and over again, and yeah, it's traveling through this energetic field we call like the universe, and it's it's it comes around every like 26,000 years. It comes around the same sort of cycle, and uh, because we're just energy orbs, spirits, and we decide to come into a physical reality for experiences, uh, we can sort of go in and out normally. This particular Earth, like this particular planet, and there's others out there too, uh, got influenced by, um, let's say, negative, or you can call them recessive beings. Whether they inhabit themselves as in physical bodies as well. Uh, Normally, the system we're in, it's kind of symbiotic. It's like we understand that we need uh, to have enough conflicts to give us something to overcome, like with these lessons in these physical realities. So it's actually part of the plan to have. It's almost like uh, purposefully trying to infect ourselves with diseases so we can build up our immunity. I'm using these. I'm trying to simplify this as best I can. That's why it might sound silly a little bit as I go along, but so normally these are pretty balanced out so that we can have growth. So, but this particular system that we're in right now, on this particular planet that we're inhabiting, it it's there's kind of like a power struggle of these negative entities that are um, trying to control too much. Uh, I'm not sure exactly the full story of why they planned this or why they're doing this necessarily, other than it's about control. They're trying to take control, and we can see it play out, especially on Earth. They're they're trying to control this. I know one thing in particular is because we go through these cycles, whether it's every 26,000 years, that it's almost like a butterfly in a cocoon, or um, basically like a transformation where we uh, sort of like advance to a higher level of consciousness. Now everything is run by our consciousness. It's pretty hard to wrap your head around. As well as we're all part of the same energy. we're all just little fractals, little sparks of the same energy, and it's trying to play itself out to refine and define itself. It's like I said, it is kind of a way of building up our immune system galactically and spiritually. So it's like we need challenges and things like that. This one's way out of balance. So the controllers that were controlling Earth, they don't want us to know the truth. So like as you notice with our just this the way we're playing out our lives here on this planet, that all the higher positions are purposely taken and by these darker entities, whether they incarnate in a physical body or not, but somehow they're manipulating us and they're trying to steer the narrative to what it seems like is a dark agenda, but really the main purpose behind it is to keep our vibrations low, because they're looking for a way to merge in to be a part of us when we what we're calling is ascending or whatever to a higher vibration. So and they knew this was coming. They've been trying this for hundreds of thousands of years. They're playing the long game for sure, and they're trying to find a way to to graduate out of a lower vibration. It's like I use the example of students in grade school, and it's usually a pretty good example. It's like a bunch of grade 3 students that are trying to short track a way of graduating to grade 5. Let me put it that way. It's kind of like that. So they realize, because naturally we go through these cycles and we learn our lessons from these physical incarnations, and we, in a sense, we graduate normally to higher grades of understanding and growth and spiritual growth. It's really, in a sense, about spiritual growth. We think of it as, from a physical perspective because we're in our physical bodies right now. So we try to understand the world through our physicality. But it's a bigger story than that. It's kind of complicated. So, so the situation we're in right now is we're transforming to a higher vibration. And I've used the example from AM frequency to a FM frequency. It's kind of like that. It's like we're going through that. But because we're in our physical bodies, we're trying to wrap our heads around what's going on. Like, because it's like, normally we understand what's going on better, but like I said, because we're being controlled, we've been messed with, and that means our physical bodies especially, because they know that our physical bodies are tied into our spirits, like they're sort of connected. There's a connection. It's like, this is the character I'm playing, and they need this energetic connection to this physical body. So, but who I really am is just an orb of energy that I can incarnate into different beings all over the place, from far distance away too. Like, there's no such thing as time or space when you get out of the game, when you get out of these physical realities to learn experiences. I'm hoping this makes a little bit of sense. I'm trying to simplify it because we're going through this transformation, and obviously, if we came here, we knew this was coming spiritually, like outside the game. We came in knowing that this is going to happen. This transformation is going to happen. So we probably came here because this sounds like a really exciting time, which it is. It's crazy times, but it's very exciting times because we're participating in this. This transformation is what we're going through, and it's tough. It's tough to stay into the physical game of it too, because they know the connection between our physical avatars and this whole energetic hologram that we're living in, this holodeck that we're playing these things out. And they're trying to take as many of us out of this realm because they know how powerful we are to connect and manifest this world. I know this is really hard to wrap our heads around, but I'm trying to simplify it. So that's what we're living through right now. But outside of this reality, and there was, in a sense, off-world, we knew that we'd need help, so we've asked a lot of grade 6 up to grade 10 students to come help and participate and help us get through this, because, to be honest, we've tried this before and we failed on a different timeline. I know this is crazy stuff. So this time we came in more prepared and we're winning. So just so you understand. So we're getting out of this mess and we're transforming into a higher vibration. Now, again, I'm always asking, I know you're probably asking the same questions. Well, what is this? Does this magically just suddenly you wake up someday and all of a sudden everything looks different or whatever? I was going to say back in the old days, but back when we used to do this, that was kind of how things would work. It's almost like we'd learn some stuff and then we just, in a sense, it's almost like what you'll hear, how the ascended masters would just disappear. Well, it's like they outgrow this density and then they just magically, they'll even just disappear. We would do that like in a collective way too in the past. But this time, what we've decided, what I mean when I say we, is all of us, because we're all kind of part of the same energy, positive energy, we decided to get, like I said, get higher students with higher vibrations to come in and help. And we're all going to do this in a slow manner. Okay, I know. So it's a slow transition. So it's not suddenly we're going to wake up someday and everything's going to change. It's going to change gradually, is what it is. We're shaking them off. So we're separating, well, you can call them the chaff from the wheat if you want, from that perspective. But I'm just saying we're trying to get rid of all this negative energy and leave it behind, because we're going to a higher vibration. So that's why even up to 3 years ago, I was getting this message just like try to get rid of or forgive your enemies or whatever type of thing, but also just trying to shed those old karma connections to negative feelings and anger and things like that. So I had to try to be more forgiving and try to just really level my head off, going, okay, listen, we're just going to go through this, and I got to get rid of my negative energies, because it's kind of holding you back. It's like that tether that's connecting us to the negative energies that we're going away from. So as you can imagine, what the dark entities were trying to do is literally piggyback, or they're trying to they're hijacked us already for sure, but it's almost like they're trying to connect to us because they want to go up with us. But ultimately, there's this energetic barrier. I know it kind of sounds complicated, but I'm trying to simplify. There's this energetic barrier that they can't go past. It's almost like there's a firewall. So negative energies can't get past up here, and they've always known that. So they're trying to hitchhike a ride and connect to us as much as possible. So there's this power struggle going back and forth. The negative entities are still trying to hang on and grab as much energy as they can, because without us, they don't have any powers. So we're breaking free from them, and we're going to higher vibration. I don't have I don't have a lot of charts and pictures to help explain this, so I'm kind of doing a decent job with my words, trying to be as descriptive as possible. So that's why this is crazy times right now. Right now, and we obviously must have signed up for this. I know I did in particular, but I'm just saying there's a lot of souls that were caught in this matrix that are not aware of what was going on, and they were just going through the regular cycle of learning. You know, it isn't necessarily more. We call them like moral lessons, but what it is just trying to understand the perspectives of everything to get to become more mature as a spirit. Because but you have to understand the dark in order to understand the light. So it's like we create this drama on purpose, because nobody really dies. Our spirits are eternal. We physically die when we try these different matrices and these physicalities. So we also play the time game, which is kind of hard to explain too. We have linear time in these modules. Anyway, this might be just crazy too much information. So I'm hoping that you guys will get something out of this, because I'm just trying to describe it the best I know, or how I'm wrapping my head around it. I understand how complicated it is too, but I just can't go into it. Not at this time. Maybe in the future. It is kind of complicated, but as usual, whenever I'm trying to understand something, even when I'm here on Earth, I'm always trying to simplify it. Whether it's understanding music or art or anything, it's always try to best to simplify it to wrap your head around it first. Then you can get complicated later. So yeah, I'm trying to make a simple little video to make us or make you guys understand from my perspective, kind of where we're at. And just so you understand, we're because it's a slow transition we're going through. It's going to get better, because like I said, we're breaking away. We are breaking away, and then pretty soon we'll have clearer minds, and be able to understand it better, because that was part of our controllers, the people that have been keeping us down. That was part of their plan, was to make sure this is as confusing as possible so that we don't think clearly. That was one of the more difficult things to get out of, because we're all willing to be social creatures and do whatever everybody's saying we have to do, but the bunch of us that didn't conform are the ones that realize, I'm just going to do the right thing, whether I stand out or if I'm the only person in the room that does the right thing. And I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm just going to try to do what I think is right deep down inside, rather than just conform with the masses. So that was it's kind of a test too, but I'm just saying, but I gotta admit, you have to be strong to get out of this, and that's why there's a bunch of us, not older, we're older spirits, but we're older students. It doesn't mean we're above anybody, but us older students that remembered how tough this really was. And I gotta admit, this classroom is really tough. It's difficult for grade 9 students. I'm a grade 9 student, sort of, that volunteered to come in and help out, and anchor in, and try to help steer this in the right direction to get us out of here. So I'm just kind of doing a small part, and if this makes sense to anybody out there, good, because it is kind of complicated. But you just, as we go forward, more truth is going to come out, more truth is going to be revealed, and then we'll really kind of get the bigger picture of what's been going on for thousands of years. So anyway, that's my video for today. I'll talk to you guys maybe in another couple weeks or something. Okay, bye.